We've just hit six figures in our business. Should we use Salesforce or something else to make us look a little bit more legit? Well, let me stop you right there. You don't need a CRM that's going to take you 6 weeks to implement, especially when it takes you 6 days to get through that pile of leads that you have in your inbox. So let's talk a little bit about why enterprise solutions don't work for small businesses and what you can do instead. Hey folks, welcome back to Confessions of a CX Executive. I just hit 6 figures. Should I start using Salesforce or HubSpot? Salesforce and HubSpot are amazing tools, all great platforms, but for companies with actual operations teams. If you're the head of sales, the CEO, and a part-time bookkeeper, you're probably not ready for a CRM that requires a 4-part webinar just to add a new contract. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Are you a founder that spent 20 hours building a lead scoring system and then never followed up with a single lead? If that's you, here's a few things you want to consider. Enterprise tools are called enterprise tools for a reason. They deal with enterprise complexity, which involves workflows, permissions, integrations, all that fun stuff that'll keep you up at night. But here's the thing. Sometimes we purchase these tools so we look a little bit more legitimate, not because they'll make us faster. For example, if you spend 12 hours learning Salesforce's pipeline builder, but you haven't followed up with the leads in your inbox, again, coming back to the simple stuff, and you're probably not ready for this sort of solution. So what I would caution you is use what actually helps you work, not something that makes you look like you're working. Okay, so let's talk about the second question here. Everyone in my mastermind group is building dashboards and standard operating procedures. Am I behind? Well, let's talk about this thing called dashboard envy. Everyone in your mastermind group is going to show you what they're doing on Airtable. They're going to show you their Notion pages like they're works of art. But here's the reality. You're using Google Sheets and it works just fine. And that's what your gut tells you. So let's go with it. We've heard of the startups who have a 15-page SOP on how to request PTO, but they're grinding and building. No one's actually taking PTO. So what was the utility of that? That's not scaling. Essentially, that's just stalling disguised as structure. We want to avoid that. The critical piece around dashboard FOMO is that it is real when you're comparing yourself to others, but the reality is that a dashboard is not a substitution for making a decision. See, founders sometimes conflate activity with structure. So if you're building an SOP for onboarding a customer, but your customer only comes on once every 90 days, is this really needed? Let's talk about question 3. What tools, Mr. Smarty Pants, actually make sense for small teams? Well, this is one of the rare times I'll give you a direct recommendation. If you want to have drag and drop opportunities or tools that work simple, get things done in a heartbeat, well, look no further than Notion. I think that's one of the tools that definitely help you. If you got a group of people who want to collaborate, simple stuff, knock it out. We've already talked about Google Docs. Beautiful tool. If you want to record a video, the how-to for onboarding your teams, or just simply things where you want to save a meeting, Loom is an excellent tool to help you accomplish that. So Notion to help you get things done, Google Docs to help you collaborate, and of course Loom to record a small video. So if your team's under 10, this is probably the only dashboard you actually need. And I would say conversation is probably the most important tool in your toolbox. Use these tools to solve problems you already have today, not the ones you think you'll grow into. Again, let's fall back to the 3 Ps. The first P being people. Can we solve this problem by having the right individuals? Number 2, process. Have we mapped the process to help us understand what problem we're trying to solve? 3, platform, also known as the tech. So if we try to solve problems in this order, this will help us be more effective in what we do in our business. Again, talk, iterate, repeat, then automate. Let's talk about question 4. If enterprise tools don't work now, well, when should I consider them? The time is not when you hire your first ops assistants. Here's a couple of tales. The first is if you've got a repeatable process, or you have volume, or you have an actual problem that tools can solve, then that's the time to go big. Now, what's the difference between adoption and maturity? It's quite simple. If you have a tool that your team actually enjoys using and they don't resent you for implementing it, then you've got maturity. So again, Let's think about what these triggers are when it's time to add a tool. The first piece is if you got 10 plus people working on the same thing daily, probably need some tools to help you scale your business. If you find yourself copying and pasting data into spreadsheets and hoping that it works, you probably need a little bit of tech in your life. Again, tools adoption means we bought it, guess we got to use it. But maturity means we actually use it, we enjoy it, and it helps us. So in conclusion today, if you're spending more time learning a platform than running your business, probably too soon to adopt the tools of the big folks. Now, drop me a line in the comments. Tell me the most overhyped tool you've tried and unfortunately had to pay for. And I'll tell you if I've seen it work or if I've watched it backfire in real time. Spoiler alert, if you're watching this video today, you probably have a good idea of where I've landed on some overhyped tools based on the size of your business. Again, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's the one size that fits the problem that you're trying to solve. And so if you're thinking about hiring a Salesforce admin before you've hired your second salesperson, do us all a favor. Just simply don't. Again, this has been Confessions of a CX Executive. I'm JP Dumas. I'm your host, and I look forward to speaking to you next week.